Let me tell a tale of a world where heroes walk among us, fighting through the darkness left by monsters and by selfish men. A tale of glory rent asunder, sacrifice and battles lost. Our heroes know not what awaits them, and still they carry on.
We'll talk
Take
for
two,
you.
take two.
Take two. Hello, there it is, and welcome to Edges of Einor presents the restoration of an old wizard's memory and more, 36th episode of The Curse of Strahd. What's up, everybody? Sorry about some weirdness. I'm having some strange technical difficulties. I don't know why. Something's gone off my audio interface. Hopefully it's all sorted now. If not, we'll just deal with it. Very strange. But anyway, welcome everybody. As always, we're going to get into the game here in just a few moments. Before we do, we have that housekeeping stuff. But of course, we're 36 episodes in, so we're going to try and keep it brief. First things first, on map screens, don't spoil stuff. You're going to see GM things. Don't talk about it unless the players already know it's there, because they'll be in chat, hanging out. So don't spoil it. Second, don't forget about rules. There's a lot of them in this game, and sometimes I make shit up. So if I'm trying to remember how rule works, feel free to put it in chat. But if we don't see it and we're not going to go back and fix things, don't lose your mind about it. Third, this is an open, welcoming space. Don't be a wang rod. We don't put up with people being wang rods in chat. You guys are always great, of course. But in case there's anybody new, you've been warned. And fourth, of course, this adventure is horror-themed, may contain elements that are unpleasant or disturbing. We're obviously not aiming for any excessive content that's graphic in nature, but in the context of a live stream, we typically won't be able to give any kind of content warnings, as much of what we're doing is improvised. The YouTube videos and podcast feed will have those content warnings in the description when they go up. Please moderate your consumption with that in mind. As a reminder, we do release a show on YouTube and as a podcast after each episode during the following week, so if you miss an episode or have to miss part of it, don't fret. You can still catch it live. You can still catch it not live after the fact, if you need to be caught up for the next week, if you want to be back live with us. And of course, as always, last thing before we get started, I'd like to go on to cast. I ran out of runway there. Cast, please introduce yourselves and your characters and remind us whether or not you have chat inspiration before we jump in, starting with Uvitsu Page.
I'm pretty sure the last part of that only dogs and small rodents could hear.
I did my best.
Hey y'all, I am Vincent Page. I will be playing the beloved, to me anyway, Ash Fireforge, your changing rogue, who we're 30-some episodes in. I can find this. I have chat inspiration.
Great. Omega.
Hey y'all, my name is Omega. I am playing Pita Wallhorn, the Valor Bard, and I have chat inspiration.
Huzzah. Ozzy.
I'm Ozzy. I'm playing Cass, an Ancient's Paladin, and I have chat inspiration.
Very good. Bonus Mom.
I am Bonus Mom. I am playing Wanderess, the Furbold Nature Domain Cleric, and I have chat inspiration.
Very good. I am Pixel. I'm playing everything and everyone else. And Esmeralda, the PC-ish, DM PC almost ally of the party, was granted inspiration by Buns last time, and we decided to allow that. So apparently, I don't have a marker like everybody else, but apparently Esmeralda does have inspiration. I've got that marked down somewhere on the sheet. Hooray. You can find me here.
For?
What? Okay.
Remind me what the red heart is for?
The red hearts, yes. So all of the red hearts are to show everybody who has not yet had their hit dice redeemed on a given session. So in case you're just joining us for the first time, 36 episodes in, let's explain how these mechanics work, because we do actually possibly have some new folks with us tonight. The little white D20s evidenced here. I'm flipping them on and off on random people. Those things represent when a character has chat inspiration. For channel points, for those on the Twitch feed, you can spend those channel points to grant inspiration to a character, but they can only hold one at a time. So when they use it, you can charge it back up. I try my best to flick them on and off, when they use them, but I'm not always 100% up to date because I got a whole dang game of D&D to run and a whole stream to run on top of it. The red hearts indicate their hit dice. So we have another mechanic that we've added, which allows you folks to spend some channel points to give a character the ability to roll a hit dice, which will grant them additional HP. However, the one caveat is if a character is unconscious, if they are downed, but not dead, you cannot bring them back to consciousness with the hit dice. So if you grant hit dice to a character that's unconscious, they will regain those hit points the next time they regain hit points, which could be when someone heals them, or if they, stabilize and naturally gain hit points a certain number of hours later per the rules of 5th edition D&D. But other than that, as long as the character is conscious, they can immediately redeem those hit dice for a few extra hit points. So if you want to maximize those, do them before they go down. But each character can only redeem that once per session. So when it is redeemed on them, I will click it off, and that will mean that they are no longer eligible to have the hit dice. So that is how we are trying to notate for you guys on our overlays here. We're trying to be high tech. Also, my name is Pixel. I'll be your Mungeon Gaster, your Gungeon Daster, your Dastardly Master, whatever you want to call it. This evening, I will be running the game. You can also find me here at twitch.tv/hammerandpixel, where I play other video games. And we've been doing a lot of Stardew Valley lately. And that's it. Okay. Anything else I've missed?
Barking. It's going to be bad.
Anything else I've missed? I don't think so. So, that having been said, my friends, I have to find some good ambience. Let's use this. I haven't used this. Let's hope it's good. When last we left our heroes. Okay, the only notes I have here say, Totes didn't prep this, make it up, good luck, Pixel. So, without further ado, when last we left our heroes, they were, at the beginning of last session, they began having rested in the Amber Temple with the Lich, who they had befriended, who was making them a scroll that might be able to cure the madness of the Mad Mage of Mount Baratok, as well as they had found the holy symbol of Ravenkind, which I believe we still have to distribute to whichever of the PCs. I think maybe Wanderers has it now, but I'm not 100% sure. As well as several beautiful dresses that they had found amongst the treasure. At least one of which would probably satisfy the needs of the abbot who had sent them down there in the first place. They left and began to make their way back down the mountain. They were accosted by wolves at one point, and they managed to fight them off. And then, I think it was wolves. Watch the last episode if you don't remember, because it's been a while and I don't. They made their way all the way back to the village of Kretsk. They went to the abbot of the Abbey of St. Markovia, who is, as we recall, the angel who has been here in Barovia trying to fix things for quite some time and is a little bit off his rocker. He had sent them on a quest to search for a wedding dress for the flesh golem woman he had crafted from various body parts that he had scavenged from graveyards around Kretsk. And nevertheless, his goal was to make a beautiful woman whom Strahd would fall in love with somehow. Our heroes decided not to point out what an absolutely deranged plan that is, and decided to aid him in his foolishness, found him a dress in the Amber Temple, brought it back to him, and he kept up his end of the bargain. They sent a message to the Mad Mage of Mount Baratok, who apparently polymorphed himself into a giant eagle and flew across the valley to land at the Abbey of St. Markovia and was healed by the angel. They all left. They went to visit their dearest friend, Slavic wife guy, whose actual canon in-game name escapes me at the moment, but I have written it down because I'm a clever boy.
Bogdanovich. The
Nikolai
Bogdanoviches.
Bogdanovich and his
Yeah.
wife Vila Vinkovna Bogdanovich, his eldest son Vincentovich Bogdanovich, his oldest daughter Annika Bogdanovich, his second son Ivan Bogdanovich, his third son Dragan Bogdanovich, and his youngest daughter Milena Bogdanovich. They visited them with a big pile of beautiful dresses that they had taken from the Amber Temple. And of course, Slavic wife guy's heart was overfilled with the thought that his wife and beautiful daughters would get to wear the most beautiful dresses in all the land. And he was extraordinarily happy.
Poetic.
Yeah, they waxed poetic. Ceremonial weapons were exchanged between PETA and the eldest Bogdanovich boy. And the whole endeavor was heartwarming in the extreme. And however, they did not want to stay with the Bogdanoviches again and risk putting them at risk by taking their hospitalities, given that they are now public enemy number one for your boy Strahd. So our friends with the now no longer magically crazy Mad Mage of Mount Baratok, so just, I guess, the Mage of Mount Baratok, they went outside. He summoned a fun little extra-dimensional mansion via a magical doorway, and they went inside, and that, my friends, is where we resume our tale. So, you friends have you have basically gone out into the woods outside of Kretsk, and the mage has opened it looks just like an ornate wooden door sitting in the middle of the woods. He has opened it and gestures for you to enter. And you do so, I presume. And so now you again stand in the atrium of his magical mansion. And it is evening time. You probably have not... Well, I don't think you had dinner with Bogdanovich, so it's probably dinner time. And you have to rest for the evening, and you may want to speak and roleplay, so I leave it to you. What do you folks do at this juncture?
Wanderous is going to be very somber, a little bit distracted, and not much interested in eating. And he is just going to kind of find a place to sit down and draw within himself.
Okay.
I guess we should talk about what comes next.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think that. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I mean, I think, we've done everything that.
Sorry. I was having an issue with my audio again.
Oh. So, I mean,
Okay,
we have
sorry,
all of the
guys.
relics.
Carry on.
We have allies. I think we need to start getting ready to attack Strahd.
So as you begin to kind of have this conversation, the Mad Mage ushers you all into the large dining room where you had previously eaten, and says, I'm gonna go get cleaned up. He gestures down at himself. He is wearing ragged robes. He's got his hat is all effed up. He's got twigs in his hair and beard. He sort of snaps his fingers, and various unseen servants who are also summoned by the house kind of begin to set magically created delicious food and drink down in front of you, just to have something to kind of sort of, be eating and enjoying your repast while he goes off to take care of his business.
Yeah, I think that we've gotten everything that the fortune teller lady said we needed. We've repaired the memory or sanity or whatever you want to call it of the mage. I guess maybe our next stop needs to be Van
Vallaki.
Richten. Oh, Van Richten.
Or
right?
yeah, Van Richten
Our
and then
way.
Vallaki. Yeah, I think we need to like gather all of our allies up and come up with a plan.
I am worried that the spell didn't seem to work to reach Onyx.
That is concerning.
I have to tell you about that, Onyx. Wander says as he stumbles into that part of the room where they're eating. That's not good. That the only way that wouldn't work, if Onyx is in a different plane, there's like a small percentage chance that the message just didn't reach him, but a 95% chance that it would have, even on another plane. The other alternative is that he isn't. And I feel that we should tell the Mad Mage and see if he even remembers that Onyx was with us. And what he remembers, I feel like we need to have a conversation with him now that he's different and restored.
I definitely think, yeah. I mean, as far as, you know, Onyx being alive or otherwise, I think we just have to keep faith and, you know, hope that he's still holding out for us.
There's no spell that Strahd could have cast that would just make that spell not work.
I mean, possible.
Not
I
that
guess.
I know of. But, you know, I'm new to this. This is a change for me from when this adventure started. I was a druid, and now my goddess has called me to be a cleric, and they're different. And when I started, I didn't know. I'd never had a friend. I had never talked to people and cared about people like I do now. I'm so worried about Onyx, and yet I know that if he isn't, then he isn't.
Well, maybe you can try again later. Or maybe
I'm willing to try again in case it's that small chance that just didn't work and that Strahd has placed him like in a prison on another plane or something like that.
hopefully.
Then I don't mean to get into something else, but there were so many things said in the Ice Castle Ash about you, your brother Thorin, even you, Cass. I didn't understand what was really being said. Do you know each other?
No.
I've never seen Cass before. We met in the woods that night.
Same. And I never knew Thorin.
But to me, it sounded like there... Was I wrong? A connection?
There's a connection somehow, for some reason.
I don't know if I'd mentioned before, but the reason that, Thorin and me even had a relationship, or even the only reason we were siblings, is because Thorin's parents took me in as their own. Unfortunately, it came at the cost of losing their daughter. I was dropped off one night by Faye, and it seems like the Fae took their daughter in some sort of exchange. That's the whole reason. That's the whole reason that me and Thorin decided to become investigators. We were hoping that we would come across a trail one day.
I mean, the Fae do things like that. I don't know why. Maybe our parents thought that, they could help me shake the shadow that's been following me since I was born. Maybe the shadow caused this to happen. I don't know.
Wait, are you saying, Kaz, that you are that little girl?
Sure seems that way.
What do you think of this? What does it seem like to you?
I don't know yet.
I don't know why the Lich would lie. He gave us nothing but help, so I believe that it's true. It's got to be the biggest irony in my life that Thorin's now gone, and yet somehow Cass has found her way back. It's quite the turn of fate.
Yeah, that is sort of fucked, isn't it? Esmeralda pipes in. And she's sort of like sitting, in one of the chairs, sort of up at a different end of the table, just with her foot literally sitting on the table, just kind of splayed out.
Well, and I mean, it makes me sad because I had a brother that I'll never know. And I just hope that, we can make it out of this and I can maybe meet my parents one day.
That much I can promise I will make happen.
Thank you.
I wasn't allowed to know my mother. I have no idea who my father might have been. It was never admitted to. You have made something amazing here.
I was raised by Faye. It wasn't necessarily the most nurturing environment, but
you said something. Did you say that our parents may have sent you away because of the shadow?
I don't know. I'm only guessing. All I know is it's been with me my entire life. Maybe maybe the Fae thought that they could do something about it. Maybe our parents thought that they could do something about it. I have no idea.
Faye never mentioned this?
I mean, they never mentioned my parents at all.
Did they know about your shadow?
They did. Over the years, they helped teach me how to suppress it. how to resist its urges. But they weren't able to help me get rid of it. And that's honestly the whole reason I started following Torm and became a paladin.
It's your life and you have to decide what path you'll take. But it sounds to me like we have stumbled upon a way to maybe get more than one thing you want. Maybe something that we all want. Seems to me we could be rid of your shadow and make your family whole again.
You mean our family?
I'm eternally grateful for the family that did turn their back on me, even though I was, a symbol of what they had lost. And that's why I devoted myself to becoming the best investigator that I could, is to hopefully find you one day. And we're going to make it out of here, no matter what I have to do.
For sure.
In the midst of the worst place I have ever been in my life, a place with no stars, where there's nothing but clouds and no sunshine, and people are crazy and bitter and shape-changing and undead. This is truly glorious. This is an amazing, happy moment. I bless this. And I rejoice for you too, both of you.
It's not been all so bad either. Just think we would never have met, any of us, had it not been for this terrible place. Which
exactly
seems kind of, almost silly, but there's positives in the negatives, I suppose.
God meant it for bad, but there is good in it.
People are funny
you
like
haven't been
that.
with us for... Oh, excuse me.
That's it. That's all she said.
You haven't been with us for very long, Peter. What do you think of us?
And I'm gonna be kind of like in my my songbook, writing down kind of like the stuff that's been happening. And I'll look up from the book, be like, it's for the short time that I've been around you all. I can say that you all have such a beautiful bond with each other, and something that I don't ever think I'll ever have, honestly, outside of this whole thing after we get done doing what we need to. So I'm just trying to cherish every moment that I have right now. And I'm very thankful for all of you for accepting me with open arms and being willing to help me help you. So.
Well, I don't know too much about bonds, but I can't think of anything that would bond a group of random people together more than saving this place. And I think that's what we're going to do.
By my goddess, I dedicate myself to it. We need to find out just what this mage knows about Strahd's castle. And then, yes, we need to get together our allies and make a plan.
Well,
And dinner, I'd like some dinner.
And as you sort of wrap up that conversation, the mage walks back in and says, "Oh, well, I suppose I should formally introduce myself. My name is Mordenkainen of Earth."
Good
Well.
evening, fine sir.
Very excellent to meet you in your rightful state of mind. I'm Ash Fireforge.
I'm Cass.
Wanderers.
I'll pretty much like drop my quill and book and like run up and like start shaking. And it's like Peta Wallhorn.
Okay. He sort of like pats your hand and tries to disentangle himself.
And this is our lovely associate, Esmeralda.
Sup? He sort of nods at her and he looks at the rest of you and says, "Well, you have my gratitude. Quite the shameful state I found myself in."
Do you remember how you got to be this way at all? Or that way?
Yes, well, listen. I'm a rather well-known archmage where I come from. And, I sort of, travel the multiverse and, try to study new things and keep things on track in my own way. And word reached me of what was happening here in this strange little demi-plane where some sadistic assbag was trapping souls and basically lording over them and being frankly, a total wangrod. So, I figured I'd just pop on over, kick his ass, and call it a day. Unfortunately for me, he was, let's just say a bit more magically inclined than I anticipated. Also, there's some shit going on with his castle that he can take a bit more of a beating than really any other vampire lord I've dealt with in my time. And so I was defeated. My tools of power were scattered across the land, and I have, I suppose, until that absolutely unhinged angel creature back in Kretsk resolved my magical malady, as it were, I was left in a sort of paranoid state, and was casting mind blank on myself every day, so that if I was caught, my memories could not be gleaned.
Does that mean you don't remember anything from your stint in the woods?
No, I do. Now. But mind blank, it's a spell. It's it just hides, like hiding things from myself for a time.
I see.
Do you remember what happened when first we met?
Yes. Unfortunately, I do.
Do you remember who all was there?
I do.
We met him the first night we all came to this place, except for Kaz. Kaz and Peter joined us later. Ash and his brother Thorin and I met Onyx that first night that we stumbled into this, whatever it is. And he was looking for you. He came looking for you.
Well, I never wanted him to come here. I, of course, thought I would be in and out lickety-split. But, obviously that didn't happen.
Do you remember what happened to him?
Yes.
When we went on our way after we left you and we came here to Kratsk, and then we went to the Golden Temple, I used my ability to send messages to keep in touch with him. But the last one I sent, it didn't work. We knew that he was at that castle with Strahd. We knew that much. You told us, even in your other form, that when you faced Strahd at the castle, he was stronger there. And that was partially why you were defeated. There was something about him being there. Now that you are yourself again, is there anything that you think could work in our favor if we go there to confront him?
Well, I presume your friend, he sort of gestures towards Esmeralda, also knows this, at least if she was paying attention at all to her mentor, but in fact, the only place he can be killed is in his castle. If he is destroyed anywhere else, he will simply vanish into mist and reconstitute himself a day or so later in his resting place. So, his resting place must be found, and he must be killed there. Usually, it's easiest to either try and take them while they're sleeping, but one of his age probably doesn't sleep much. Also, the sun doesn't really do normal things here, so you may need to be defeated, found, and then defeated again.
So do you think it'd be a good idea to find... do you think his resting spot is in his castle as well?
Almost certainly. He is extremely vulnerable when he has to rest. He would almost certainly have it in his stronghold where his power is greatest.
So defeating him in the field, and then with that time buffer is when we would want to strike.
I mean, there's a few ways to go about it, I suppose. You can try and lure him somewhere out of the castle, defeat him, and then go to his castle, fight your way through whatever safeguards he has there, find his resting place, and defeat him all over again. Or you can just go to his castle, defeat him whenever he confronts you. Maybe you're lucky and you catch him in his resting place to begin with, or you have to... Either way, you basically are probably not getting out of this without fighting him twice, unless you're really lucky and he's waiting for you in the place where he's most vulnerable to be killed. Which seems...
Doesn't seem likely, though.
Not likely, but I mean, as I said, he doesn't rest much, but he does have to rest every so often. The magic that animates him fails at certain points, I suppose, and he has to enter a state much like death.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess my question would be, do we think it would be better to lure him out, fight him, take on the castle, fight whatever's in the castle, and then kill him in his resting place? Or just go to the castle, fight him, and what I can only imagine is an army of spawns and thralls
Well,
at the same time.
I think after our little run-in with him, he has the measure of me at this point. This was our second encounter. And I dare say it will be difficult, even if you manage to lure him out, to find him without an army of thralls and spawn. I think wherever you try to lure him, he will certainly bring help. So
I mean,
let's
that's
not
true.
forget about the immense amount of time we've spent gathering advantages. For example, the amount of allies that we now have.
Oh yeah, we have a
between-
small army between us.
between yourself, who I hope, I'm not assuming too much to say that you will assist us in this. We have Van Richten and his pupil. We have the Order of the Feather at our disposal as well as a bunch of other small friends we've made along the way.
We have the witches.
Oh, did they promise to help us with that?
Look, all I'm saying is that witch bond thing says, when all is darkest, look to the skies.
Do what?
I
have
don't
that
know
on
if
my
anyone
character
ever.
sheet.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else knows about that. But
Yeah, I'm like, wait, what? Hold on a minute.
Look, I bonded with the witches, from the ice place.
Interesting.
I gave them that power, and they said, "Hey, if you need us, look to the skies."
Well, excellent. Well, then on top of allies, we've been, I think we may have mentioned this to you before, and I'm assuming you remember now, that we were questing to find some items that a fortune teller had told us about, and we found them. She told us we could find Esmeralda. We did. We found the weapon that Strahd fears, and I'll gesture towards PETA. We have the Sun Sword, and then we also have the amulet. Amulet of Ravenkind.
yeah, the holy symbol of Ravenkind, I believe.
Holy
it is.
symbol.
If I'm not mistaken.
Somebody did tell, we do know what it does now, right?
Yes, I believe.
Let me see if I
I put it on your thing here.
Let's find it real quick.
Should be
Here it is.
alphabetical.
The thing with 10 charges.
Yes,
And
you can cast sunlight with 5 charges. You can turn undead. And I think that's it.
It has a couple of different things. It looks like it does, right?
Yeah.
It says hold vampires,
turn undead,
turn
and
undead,
sunlight.
and sunlight. Yeah.
I've got
So,
the
I mean,
Mesa Disruption.
The sunlight is huge. If you guys look at the actual sunlight spell, or I guess it says that light is sunlight. I think you would all know that sunlight is very, very bad for vampires. So it uses a bunch of charges, but it's extremely helpful.
Yeah. So, I mean, we're not without advantages at this point. I was hoping to know a little bit more about the castle. With us, what was a tragedy, I hope would turn advantage, but we're still uncertain on how that's played out.
Well, I've been thinking about our friend, our wonderful friend who lives in the ice, in the Golden Temple. And there was that room that had that model of the castle in it. I wonder if our friend the mage were to see that and we were to look at it closely, if we would see anything that now we know what we know would help us to know some way to get in the castle or where Strahd's special place might be by looking at the model. It might help us formulate a plan as to how we're going to get in there rather than just walking up to the front door. And I mean, that worked for Richtofen, but I don't think it's going to work for Strahd.
It is worth mentioning, actually, while we're talking about the Amber Temple, that we may or may not, and like, listen, hear me out before we freak out. We may have woken up a lich. And I know what you're thinking, lich bad. He was extremely helpful and did say that if you needed to, up your, restore or, if you need spells, he basically has access to whatever you may need there. So, by the way.
Interesting.
He seemed more than willing to help with the Strahd situation, even if he does end up being a situation after the fact.
And he knew some things about Strahd. He had been around long enough to know many things.
Well, as it just so happens, he may be the one who turned Strahd on how to
Become
put the
a
curse on
vampire.
himself. Yeah.
But we wouldn't hold that against him because he's my friend.
Well, right. I just mean that he definitely has. He was more than happy to give us all the information he had regarding Strahd.
Well, you say he has spells? What?
Yeah, he has a massive library and Wondrous actually has a copy of the Greater Restoration spell that we were going to use on you, that it just so happened that the angel thing worked out. But he was more than happy to share all the spells that he had in his library with us, and you as well, from what I understand.
I see.
Because we know that you lost your book and that your
Yes.
staff was broken. You told us that before. Do you have any idea where your book is now?
None whatsoever. I didn't have scrying prepared, of course, when I went into the castle. Didn't think I would need it. And without my book, I can't prepare it, although I suppose if I could go and either copy that into a new book and then re-prepare it, I could scry and find my book and my staff. It's unlikely, I think. Well, I suppose it's possible that Strahd beat me to it. I have been living in the woods like a crazy person for quite some time now. But he also might have thought them destroyed. I don't know. They were sort of blasted out of my hands and launched into the wilderness. It's possible that the book's not even in reasonable shape anymore. I don't know.
If he had found your book, would he have been able to use it?
Well, if there were any spells in there of up to whatever the maximum level he can cast that he didn't already know, then yes, he could learn new ones, I suppose.
Well, I would think the fact that he has not found and destroyed you would be an indication that he didn't find it.
Well, that mind blank spell I was casting on myself blocks you from being scryed on or divined upon in any way. So that sort of kept him from finding me, even if he either had the spell to begin with or got it from my book if he found it. The only reason he was able to find me was following the rest of you, which is, is what it is. Certainly if you hadn't found me, I would still be in the woods covered in leaves. And you can see now that he's like changed clothes and is wearing like fine, shimmering archmagey robes.
We are, of course, I know I speak for all of us, eager, while dreading it with every fiber of our beings, to get on with it and face Strahd and take our turn in possibly destroying that evil. But it would be foolhardy, I feel, and I must think, as trying to look into myself and aim towards being a leader, it would be foolish for us to not prepare ourselves. I think when we first came here and we first just, with all good thoughts, rushed into that first house to help those two, what we thought were darling little children, we didn't prepare. We just rushed in, and it was dreadful. We mustn't do that again. Strahd is too powerful. We've all run up to him, against him enough times. The archmage of multiple planes of existence was defeated by Strahd. We must try to gain every advantage.
Well, I do have some things I can do to aid you, of course. I do have teleport prepared, so travel can be made a little easier. I can only cast it once a day, but if we needed to, for instance, go back to that, whatever you're calling it, Ice Castle?
Amber Temple.
That's the one. We can do that. We can make our way to... I've been most of the places in the area. I haven't been to the Amber Temple, but if you describe it to me, that should be enough to get us there, probably. And then if I am able to get at least access to scrying, I can try to find my book and staff. That can help. You clearly have allies to gather. So there is, I think, some work to be done, but we are entering the end game now.
I believe we are.
I guess it warrants asking then, is where do we start? Because I know that obviously alerting the rest of our allies is something that would be important. Let's give them the information that we have. Or do we make a return trip to the Amber Temple? And it all needs to be done, right? But what do we think needs to be done first?
Well, I believe some of us also do have magical means of communicating over distances. So that can also be helpful in alerting people. I will say, it seems to me that we have a sort of fundamental contradiction to deal with here. The longer we spend gathering allies, Strahd has spies and eyes and ears everywhere, not only amongst the animals and the travelers in the land of Barovia, but amongst the populace, and as far as I know, every town, maybe with the exception of Kretsk, I'm not sure. So the more time you spend gathering your allies and presenting a unified front, of course, the more power you have at your disposal, but the more likely Strahd is to know you're coming, and the larger force he is likely to meet you with. However, that's not necessarily, determinative, I suppose, strategically speaking. Obviously, I've been in his castle, and I know teleport, so I could teleport you to one of the places I've been in his castle. I don't think he's had the ability to block that from the entirety of the edifice. So it is, you have some options at your disposal. You could just try and teleport directly in there and keep it stealthy, but then all of his normal defenses will be in place. Or you could try to gather your allies and lure some of his forces out and
I feel
then
like that's the
teleport
move.
in.
I feel like that's the move. Have a diversion.
Or, I mean, if you or you can try to just meet him head on, and I don't know. It's what you and the forces you can bring to bear think is the best strategic decision. Obviously, my get a bunch of peasants together and storm the castle didn't really pay out. So,
I think it's better. It's worth mentioning that we can't make a final decision until we know, until we talk with everybody who's going to be involved. So maybe we start with the temple.
Yeah.
There's some big decisions we need to make before we go back there. But as far as it goes, then maybe we can send word that we can meet all in one place. Maybe somewhere a bit more neutral.
Maybe Kresk.
I wonder how hard it would be to convince Van Richten and the Order of the Feather leaders to meet us in Kresk. Since it seems to be the, then again, where do we meet there? Like, we going to show up at the Bondanovich's house and be like, yo, could we have a war council here? Because the reason we didn't stay with him to begin with is because we don't want to put a even more of a target on their back.
The best that I can think of is to meet at the bar in Valaki.
I mean, yeah, the Mardikov's Tavern.
Hear me out on this as well. Why don't we meet in an a pre-decided on location?
Mhm.
And I don't want to offer this up because it's not mine to offer, but why not here? Isn't this kind of out of Strahd's reach? And we can pretty much put this door anywhere, right?
yes, I can. I can fit up to 100 people in here.
I don't know that we would have 100.
It should be known I can either cast this or teleport once in a day. Well, I suppose I could burn one of my higher level slots if necessary, but there are some limitations. Both are powerful spells.
If it wasn't so far away, I mean, how many people can you teleport?
8.
Okay.
And 7 including myself if I go with you. Or I can just
Yeah.
move 8 people somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, if it wasn't so far away, the temple.
Yeah, but we know Strahd's been there too.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Not, and obviously I'm not saying that he's going to pick the random time, but like also he tends to kind of follow in our wake. So it's very likely he's there now. Or maybe not very likely is not the word I should use, but there's not a chance that he's there now.
Yeah. Well, but I also think you found the bones, right? If I'm not mistaken. I think you've attempted to reconsecrate the temple.
Oh, in Valaki?
Yeah, is that
Yeah,
what
I
you're
did
talking about?
that.
Or were you talking about another
No, I was
temple
talking about the Amber Temple.
Oh, the Amber okay, my bad. Sorry.
Yes,
Yeah, I was about to say, like, I've reconsecrated.
I was
the stones
mistaken
in
on which
the
temple we
in
were talking about.
Valaki.
So maybe we send. Okay, I guess that's what we need to decide then. Do we send messages out to the people we know will be with us, and pick a time and a place to meet? Maybe 2 days or so from now. That way, I guess it sounds to me like the easiest thing to do would be to go back to the Amber Temple and prepare whatever it is we need to prepare there. Yeah. I know that you need.
Yeah, I
to
will
prepare
say
spells.
geographically, the Solenka Pass is pretty exposed for people traveling. It would be unlikely that you could move a large number of people there. I know that probably wasn't high on your list of places to have everyone go, but it does bear pointing out that they are pretty exposed on the side of the mountain going up. So while it is remote and somewhere he doesn't seem to frequent, although he has been there, we know.
But
It
I mean,
does
we
have
also
some drawbacks.
like I almost think Valaki though, just because like you have to think if we're moving a large force on the road, the further the distance we have to travel, one, that's days of travel because it's what, like a day from Kresk to the castle if we walk.
Let's see. From Kretsk.
Probably not a day, but we would also want to do this in broad daylight.
Yeah. Okay, so it's about 7 miles to Vallaki. And then
So roughly like
and then via the road, you're looking at about 17 miles all the way to the castle.
okay, and we can walk how far in a day?
Ooh,
I've
24.
got it pulled up right here. I believe that's the case. Movement. The good old PHB. Okay, so at a normal pace, you can make 20 miles, 24 miles in a day. At a fast pace, you can make 30 miles. At a slow pace, you could make 18. And I feel like traveling with a large group like that is of necessity going to make you slower. So I think it would be about a day's travel from Vallaki to for a large group like that from Vallaki to the castle.
You mean
But
from
then
Kresk to the castle, right?
Oh, from Crest to the castle. So from Vallaki would be closer.
About
half
about a
that.
half a day.
So
I mean,
even
if we all
yeah.
agree on Vallaki, I don't think it's bad because it's pretty central. And like, I think make a list of our known allies. It's
have
not
the
exactly
Order of the
extensive,
Feather.
which are already based in Vallaki, right?
Yeah.
That's where they are. We know that's where the heads are anyway. And then Van Richten, who is
On the way from here.
a few miles outside of the city. I don't think we can count on any help from the bishop man. Bird for brains.
We have the witches,
Mhm.
but that's not going to
Bishop
be.
Bird for brains? Oh,
Yeah, the angel dude,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the
as much
witches,
as-
if they
yeah.
do help, that's going to be like in the middle of the fight thing.
I like the question mark. Yeah, I'm still not sold on this. I like it. It's too bad we can't convince Chadrick to show his face, which we didn't ask, did we?
I
Well,
believe he
here's a
told you he
Oh
would.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wouldn't because he would be. He's willing to help us in other ways by proxy, but not help us directly.
That makes sense.
And that's my new friend you're talking about, right?
yeah,
Yes.
the light.
Chadrick Witch Stitcher, the Lich of Malgakis.
I'm not even going to try. He's just my new friend.
That's fair.
Let's see. Yeah, so you have Order of the Feather, Van Richten, Esmeralda, who is here.
Wait a minute. You know who we forgot about?
Uh,
And I hate myself for it. You know who I wonder if we could get a hold of Granny Patsy.
Oh my god.
I didn't
Granny
think like I'm
Patsy?
laughing, but honestly, I didn't even think about that.
You
I don't
know,
know.
having her like bake some pies or whatever boost morale.
Make some
Listen, she helped
snickerdoodles.
She helped us
Wait.
take down the hags.
He saved your bacon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Let's see. You
I guess
also go ahead.
I didn't really think about her because she's taking care of all those kids.
That's true. And
yeah,
I think it was
she can
also,
bake.
to be fair, is pre-PETA, I think, right? Wasn't that a
Yeah, it was
pre-PETA?
pretty
era?
PETA,
Yep.
yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't know anything, but
Well, she's
Oh, Ismark, yes, Ismark.
Yeah.
Is
He
Mark?
did. That was like the whole reason we helped that guy to begin with.
yeah, literally.
Well,
Well,
Ismark's
not, I
here
guess
in-
not exactly.
Ismark's here
a
in
young
Kresk,
guy
right?
from the
No,
first
Ismark is in
village.
Vallaki. He and Arena are staying in the church.
Okay,
Yeah.
I
And they're
couldn't
kind of
remember
looking
if we,
after
like, brought them over
Yeska
to Kresk
as
or
well
not.
as the people who are sheltering
Okay.
from Strahd in the church.
Okay.
Well, Ash does not offer up Yeska's help. I will say that.
Yeah.
Ash wants Yeska's ass to stay at the church. Like, no, you stay here for the love of God.
Yeah, who can forget about Zaddy Ismark?
R.I.P.
You guys have met a lot of people in this campaign.
Oh,
Who else do we have? I think that's about it.
I
I don't know. I don't know how many people are in the Order of the Feather.
Well, my
is that
thought
the
is,
Ravens?
Yes.
yeah, the were ravens. My thought is maybe some of these people like have other connect. Surely,
I feel like if anybody
the
would
Feather.
have, yeah, the Mardikovs probably have connections.
And I mean,
Van Richten might.
Van Richten might have I mean,
Oh,
Esmeralda,
it's the
do you know?
Keepers of the Feather. That's what they are.
Okay. Order keepers. What? Potato, tomato.
Good old Jeffrey.
Go, Jeffrey.
Okay, so Wanderers has a suggestion of a plan
Okay.
because he's been writing in his spiral notebook.
Is it
I love
wide
that
rolled?
about him.
Yeah.
We could send messages to Van Richten and Granny Patsy and Ismark and Arena and
then
through
Davian.
sending and tell them this is going to happen. So we could send messages.
Mm-hmm.
We can we could spend tomorrow sending messages. It also occurs to me that we maybe want to let the people of Kretsk know what this guy has unleashed on them. I think that Wanderers kind of tried to let the Bogdanoviches know they needed to be careful because, Strahd could be descending. But anyway, then we could transport to the Amber Temple and we could send a message and tell Chadwick we're coming. So teleport there. That's one day. And send the message to everybody, we're going to be in Vallaki the next day, and this is it. But we also, in the message that we send to Ismark, if anybody thought it were possible, Ismark or one of the Orders of the Feather could fly to the Golden Temple, could fly because they can be ravens, right? And then we could that night kind of fill them in more if they were willing to come. Like not all the ravens, because that would sure draw attention to it, but one. Then the next day, we could teleport
Back to Vallaki. Yeah.
So that's 2 teleports on 2 different days. We couldn't use this place that we are now, but we have Mordenkainen's tent that we could also set up somewhere, and us and up to how many can be in Mordenkainen in your Lehman's tiny hut? How many?
And
people
Lehman's
can be
tiny
in there?
hut,
Yeah, I'm
I
sorry.
believe, is 8
Yeah,
medium.
So, which I'm not sure how I count in that.
Okay, 9 creatures of medium size or smaller, which I think you're technically a medium sized creature.
Yeah. Did I qualify somehow? I have a thing where I can make myself littler. So, in other words, 2 teleports could do it. We could get to the temple and then we could get to Vallaki, but we could also use sending. We could have 6 sendings, if I were going to blow all the spell slots for that. Does Chaos have sending also?
I don't have sending. I mean,
I'm
the
pretty
closest. So the closest I could get would be speak with animals and hope I could find a bird to deliver a message.
But we
for
also
me.
have a sending stone right now. It's actually in the wizards.
Yeah, it's only for communicating with a wizard, though.
Yeah.
So
But we currently have Wanderers has a sending stone and the wizard has a sending stone, isn't that right?
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, so I think that I like that. We could literally let Chadwick know that we're coming there. Send out messages to Van Richten, Ismark, Granny Patsy. Esmeralda's with us. It sounds to me like the witches are just going to do their own thing, if that's even a thing. And just let them know to meet us in Vallaki, but we need to decide where, because maybe we need to hear from. I always forget the freaking dude's name at the bar back in Vallaki.
Erwin
one?
Mardikov.
No. Erwin.
Mardikov.
The Mardikovs.
Maybe he has some kind of secret place that we could, because it's not like we're going to meet with literally 100 people, right? We're going to meet with the heads of.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't got much, but it's not like we got an army of people. But it's not
probably
also
the biggest quantity of thing are the ravens. Another thing to be considered, we want to do this just everything that our Archmage says about the timing. On the other hand, when we left Vallaki, it was in a bit of disarray, if you remember. So we could teleport back to Balaki and find ourselves in the ruin of the tavern because it's been burned down. So somewhere in there, we definitely need to see what's going on.
Yeah, but I mean, if we had one of the Mardikovs meet us in the Amber Temple, they could tell us if the tavern was a safe place to meet or not.
And then I'm for that. We can find out a whole lot from them and get them to disseminate. If they might be able to send a raven to Van Richten, a raven back to the, I don't know, whatever.
So maybe start with just messaging the Mardikovs, let them know for one of them to meet us at the Amber Temple, and then take care of our stuff there before we even let anybody else know, and see if he has some further insight.
And find out what's going on in Vallaki, because it does occur to me, remember that they were burning the place down. There was a problem with the mayor. There was another woman. It was maybe another family that was associated with Strahd. They thought they were maybe friends with, and they were maybe going to try to take power. We have no idea what's happening there.
Yeah.
But we don't actually need this. We needed it tonight because, that was handy. Wanderers can't send spells to anybody tonight.
Yeah.
I wonder if we should ask our friend if he has the scroll of sending.
You mean Chadrick?
The wizard?
Yeah, Chadrick.
He said he has access to every wizard spell that exists. So he does have access to the spell sending. Yes.
So we might be able to copy a couple of those and make my 3rd level spells go further as far as notifying people.
Does that sound like a plan to everybody?
But we need to get dinner and rest.
Yeah, no, I agree with this plan. I think it's probably our best bet.
I just feel like Wanderers feels like we need to see what's in Vallaki before we go, even to announce this is where we're going to meet.
Yeah.
Plotting, planning. It's like a committee, isn't it?
Okay, so your plan is to rest here, have dinner, sleep, regain your spell slots and abilities, and in the morning teleport to the Amber Temple, and call ahead and let Chadrick know that you're on the way, then teleport to the Amber Temple. Then once there, Mordenkainen is supposed to research some spells in the library that he'll need, namely at least sending and scrying, so that he can look for his junk and also communicate with people if necessary. Meanwhile, you guys are, I guess, discussing what to do about your whole dead brother situation, and if you're going to follow through on that, I suppose that's the timeline to do that on. And then, meanwhile, also contact the Van Richten or contact the folks in Vallaki and try to set up sort of a war council and see if they can reach out to Van Richten. And then are you also planning to send things to Granny Patsy or Ismark? Or, I mean, I guess you don't have to answer that question right this second. You can sort of see how it goes, but...
if they're in Vallaki and if we're meeting there, we could just have the Mardikovs scoop them up.
Well, we don't know where Granny Patsy is, to be absolutely
fair. Other than you're pretty sure she's on another plane of existence.
Yeah, but there's that sending thing.
Some kind of demi-plane or something.
And that's one thing why I'm planning an overnight in the Golden Temple. An overnight before we get to Vallaki gives Wanderers 6 third-level spells. Now, those third-level spells are handy, but we're not actually talking about going up against Strahd anyway, so I think, he's willing to risk it. But then there are a couple of other things. Now, the wizard and Wanderers or somebody have both sending stones. we could like leave a sending stone with somebody, and that would not make it necessary to use a spell.
Well, if one of the Mardikovs come to the Amber Temple with us, we could send a sending stone with them, and then we have a constant line of contact with them while they reach the other folks if they're willing to do so.
It can only be used once, right?
Yes,
a day.
it can go back and forth.
Are
once a
they
day.
once a day too?
Yeah.
Okay. my
Yeah,
bad.
so then I just wanted to keep that in mind just because
Fair.
like we can only use that once instead of maybe like a couple times a day.
Right.
So
Yeah.
So it's basically
Sending
amounts to
stone
one
you're
extra
talking
third level
about.
spell slot. Yeah.
But if we start accumulating, if it were be possible, like if you copy a scroll of sending, then you have one use.
Correct.
But if we spent an evening, and we it might be possible to get 2 or 3 of those also.
Well, I mean, what you could do is Morden Kanan also has third level spell slots. So if he learns the spell, because he doesn't right now, he doesn't have his book. So whatever he had prepared when he went to fight Strahd like a year ago or whatever,
That's
right?
all he
That's
has.
all he has access to right now. But if he, so
well, and for that reason, it would probably be go ahead and get to the Golden Temple first thing in the morning to give him as much time to research in that library.
right, because
as
it's
we
going to
can.
take hours to, although I
Yeah.
believe he's a divination wizard, so the scrying spell is going to take half the time and money it normally would. So it's 5th level, so it'll take 2.5 hours and 250 gold or whatever. Which I guess he's hoping that Chadrick can loan him the arcane ink he needs to do that. And then the sending spell is, I don't know, 2nd or 3rd level? 3rd level. So
Mine is 3rd level.
So he only needs about 5 or 6 hours probably to do all that. But he also, yeah, anyway. So,
Well, and then there's also looking at the model of the castle
right.
while he's doing that.
Okay.
Did we ask Chadrick if he knew anything about the magic of Strahd's castle? I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
I remember talking about the model.
Yeah.
'Cause he
Yeah.
mentioned it. Well, you know what? We'll ask him again. That'll be fine.
He just he could tell us a little bit about. They were down there. Somebody built it. He more talked about the mechanics of it getting into that room.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we haven't really examined it because we didn't have time. Remember, that's all when we're trying to get and stay away from and, all that stuff.
yeah, that's fair.
All right, go team. We got a plan. Stan?
All right.
Heck yeah.
Okay.
Hand?
Well,
That's a slant rhyme.
Morden Kanan snaps his fingers once again, and the sort of like light snacks that were in front of you are taken away by the numerous unseen servants who furnish this place. They come with the mansion. That's part of the spell. And a whole host of other delicious foods are brought in, much more substantial. There's hearty stews. There's a big roast side of meat. There's grilled veggies. And, just all the food groups are represented that should be appropriate for a dinner table. And you all sort of have spent some time talking through sort of the high level stuff. As this is going on, are there any other conversations that people need to do? Or as you are moving from this into sort of like the night, is there anything anyone's doing? Is they're kind of preparing for sleep that night or?
I do want to talk to the Mad Mage about finishing up my song.
Okay.
So probably do that.
Okay.
There is a little side interaction that I think Ash wants to have with Cass at some point.
Okay.
All right, let's have it.
All right. Yeah, let's start with PETA and Morden Kanan. So, PETA, you are sitting next to Morden Kanan at dinner, if that's an appropriate time that you want to do this.
Yep.
And so you find yourself sitting there enjoying the meal.
I like it.
Okay. Yeah, I will. I'll probably be like finishing up like a bite of food, and I'll be like, I actually have heard quite a bit about you, and I've been writing a song about you. And I've been wanting to finish it, but I just haven't had very good source material. And I figured having you being and basking in your presence would be the best way to get that material to finish out my song. Even though if I die, some people may not hear it, I want to at least finish this.
I see. Well, but what do you want to know, I guess?
Well, like I was reading through some of my notes that I have on here, and I'll bring out my songbook and I'll flip through some of the pages get to the song about him. I have like all this information about how amazing of a wizard you are, but it just kind of just cuts off suddenly about like anything that anybody knew about you. I was hoping to at least finish out like my notes so I can finish out this song.
Well, then I presume you know I was a member of the Circle of Eight.
Yep. I got that in this verse right here.
Okay, very good. And yeah, well, I suppose the last thing, and I guess he looks through your notes and says, right, well, in my travels, I came across a gnomish lad. And, unlike most of the dunderheaded fools who come crawling to me, begging me to teach them the secrets of the universe and whatnot, I determined that this young fellow had some promise. And so I began to teach him. I took him on as an apprentice. And, frankly, I didn't want all of the other jealous wizards who wished that I would teach them things to really know about that. So we lived in the woods. I didn't exactly reveal my identity to him, and he doesn't know of all of my exploits, but while I was there, word came to me from an old friend about what was happening here in Barovia. I thought I would just sort of pop over for old time's sake, have a brief bit of adventure, and be back, before a few days had passed, and, well, here I am, much later, and my apprentice is not in a great place, and that is probably my fault. And I'm not feeling great about it, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
Okay, I gotcha. And PETA is gonna finish like writing up some of the notes and stuff, and all of that, and you'll see like a bunch of like asterisks of like, oh, probably shouldn't use this. This is definitely probably something that you'd want to leave out of it.
He, as you're writing, he just like puts his hand on your shoulder and kind of like scoots the chair out so that he's looking like directly into your eyes, and he says, the thing is, don't finish it. Because the story isn't over yet.
And I will I'll look up further my writing and be like, I understand. I'll go ahead and keep this, and if we survive, I'll finish it.
There may be a happy ending to all of this yet. If there's anything I've learned about magic over the years, it's that there's almost always something you can do, as long as you're willing to pay the price.
Very true. Very true. I've learned that in my own journey. So
your tall friend said that he attempted to contact my apprentice and was unsuccessful.
yes, that is correct.
The thing is, even if he were just dead, that would mean he's either trapped here by the unfortunate situation of this place, or on another plane. The spell could still reach him. So, there's a small chance that it could fail, and maybe that's what happened, but this seems to me the more likely answer, and your friend doesn't seem to want to think about this, and that's fine, but the more likely answer is that he's not the same creature anymore. And given the circumstances under which this all occurred, there is a conclusion I can't help but draw. And I think, as we discuss, we should be prepared for the eventuality that we may have to do something about that. I mean, you didn't know him, from what I can gather. You weren't with them the last I saw of him, and so I'm sort of, I don't know, maybe I'm asking for your help here. They may be a bit emotional at the prospect I'm discussing, but we have to be realistic, I think.
I honestly imagine that all the stories that I heard were of this apprentice of yours, from how these folks had talked about him. But yeah, no, I definitely will try to do my best to prepare and to help his friends move on as best as I can.
As I said, when it comes to magic, there is almost always something you can do. I will say this situation is quite difficult, and I think I have ideas about what could be done, but they might require some things I don't currently have access to.
Okay. I think I understand.
I've been researching a spell for several years now, before I came here, and I almost have it figured out. Something that would let one grasp a hold of reality itself and bend it to your will. Change it according to your wish. But there was always a piece of that puzzle I never could quite sort out. I believe there may be some kind of material component I'm missing. The likelihood that we figure out a solution to that in the next couple of days is, I'm not going to lie to you, it's a long shot. But, I don't know. Nothing's impossible, right?
Yeah, this is true. I mean, hey, I ended up over here, so.
Yes, how did you do that, by the way?
Uh,
Devilishly difficult to get into this shithole.
Very, very, very. I kind of happened to stumble upon some people that heard rumors about this place, and I just figured I felt like I searched all over, and I guess what I now consider the world of the living. I've heard quite a few stories, and I've just felt like I expanded all my resources trying to find this wizard. And I figured, hey, why the hell not give this a shot? This is a 1 in a million chance to get a story like this and turn it into a song. So,
well, not to be an old man and a font of pithy wisdom, but you always fail at things you don't try. Anyway, I have to go scrub several months worth of bird shit out of my beard. So, one shower doesn't seem like quite enough. He sort of
understandable.
Pats you on the back and gets up. And
okay.
Yeah. And we move over to Cass and Ash. You're free to have this conversation wherever you want. I don't know if you want to set the scene here. The mansion has like other kind of like wings and rooms and like sitting rooms and drawing rooms and kitchens and anything that you would find in like a Victorian manor house. There is one of in this place. So
yeah, so I was kind of thinking that I would like run and catch up with Cass as they're like, we're heading off to our separate rooms for the evening. So like kind of like maybe catch Cass before they go into, she goes in her room or whatever.
Okay.
Like, hey Cass, wait up.
What's up?
So I just wanted to say that I know that there's a really big decision that has to be made tomorrow. And I just want you to know that no matter what you decide, that I won't be upset. And I know that Thorin won't be upset either. So I don't want you to feel like there's any obligation for you to face this demon for anyone's sake but your own. But I think you should know by now that all of us are going to be behind you no matter which way you decide to go with it.
Well, I look at it this way. How could I go home and meet my parents for the first time, knowing I had an opportunity to bring Thorin back and didn't take it?
I've thought a lot about that a lot since what happened. I thought about going home after all this was over and what they would say and what they would do. And I think that I should have always known that the moment they decided to take me in, that they're just not the kind of people that would hold that against you. And they know that he did everything he could while he was here. So don't let that influence your decision either. But we'll be behind you no matter which way it goes. And I think Ash will turn to go away. And before they do, they'll press a locket into Cass's hand. I've committed this thing to memory, countless hours staring at it. I think you deserve to have it. And then
Cass opens it up.
In the locket is like an old school mini portrait of the Fireforge family, and it's the two parents, a young strapping Thorin in his younger days, and a little baby dwarven girl.
Cass just looks down at it, and a tear comes to her eye, and she says, "Thank you."
think Ash will just smile and kind of nod and turn to go to their own room.
Alrighty. And as we sort of draw this all to a close, Wandress, do you have anything that you're doing as you prepare for this evening, or are you just going to bed?
I think that basically Wanderers just has a lot to think about, and he would again settle back into a place, kind of withdraw within himself, and he is going to be pondering the possibilities of where it is or not that Onyx may be. And he's going to be thinking about getting an opportunity to go back and see his new friend, Shadwick. And the import of the fact that he came up with a plan, I think that's kind of a first for Wanderous a little bit. And so he's going to be thinking, because of everything that's been revealed about all of these relationships, the fact that Onyx and the mentor, pretty obviously, Onyx and the mage had a parent-child relationship in a way, and certainly Cass with the Fae and Ash with his family, that all of that's just going to be in Wanderous's mind as he thinks about how he was raised and how isolated he was, and the reasoning for that somehow that was going to make him better able to judge in situations if he became the shaman of his tribe. And I think that the thing that he's going to bring away from this and will change how he faces tomorrow is knowing that it is the relationship that makes you able to judge. It's when it's personal and you care about the people involved. And so that's where Wanderers is tonight. But then he will go to rest.
Alrighty. Well, and I think the very final thing that we see as the night is beginning to fully close, we pan one last time to the kitchen table. This feast has been eaten through, and the unseen servants are kind of carrying things away. And Esmeralda sits at the table. She lays her hand flat out on the table, reaches into her pocket and grabs a knife and starts stabbing in between her fingers and singing, "Oh, I have all my fingers and the knife goes chop, chop, chop. If I miss in between, my fingers will come off. And if I hit my fingers, oh, the blood will soon come out. But all the same, I play this game because that's what it's all about. Oh, chop, 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 I'm picking up the speed. And if I hit my fingers, then my hand will start to bleed. Oh, chop, 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 I'm picking up the speed. And if I hit my fingers, then my hand will start to bleed." Hey! And that is where we close the evening, and the sun rises the next day. And the sort of, I think, illusion of the manor house, like there are windows and it's like light comes in the windows, but like you can't see the outside. So if you try to look out the windows, it's just like this sort of diffuse white light coming in, you know? But it does have the illusion of morning as you wake up and begin to try to put your plan into place. Does anybody need a break, or are we good to just carry through?
I'm good.
Okay.
Should be good. Yeah.
All right. So, you all wake up, you meet, you have some breakfast, and unless anybody has anything else important to say or do, I believe Mordenkainen is going to, well, I guess you have to talk to Chadrick via message, yes?
And I'm preparing spells right now.
Okay.
I'm going to click long rest. I don't think I need to, but I'll click
Sure.
it anyway.
I guess I can.
Do you need to roll the dice to see who we're talking to today?
I'm glad you keep track of that, because I'm real honest. I really don't.
Forgetting about it. That was like the one thing you were so excited about your character. Okay.
The dice have been really kind, because there's been like this whole role play thing. It's been like, yeah, you need to be this version for like this whole thing.
Yeah.
Really great. Anyway,
Okay, let me see.
I don't have a token to roll on though.
Oh,
Super.
correct. Hang on. Let me grab you one. Bam. There you go.
Well, bam. Hey,
All right. So we have a different Ash this morning. Because I believe you've been Mask Ash for several days now.
for several days.
Okay, we're stocked up on hit dice. We're stacked up on chat inspiration for Esmeralda. And I can refill all of her spell slots. Which is just the one that she spent making you invisible yesterday.
Which was badass.
Okay.
Incredible.
So, obviously, Wandress has to finish preparing spells, and then you got to decide what.
And he has.
Okay,
I
got to
went
decide
through
what
pretty
you're going to
much what I
say
had
to what's his
yesterday.
face.
And Wanderers has 3 third-level spells, so he could do as many as 3 sending messages.
Okay.
It seems like we determined last night that as far as some people are concerned, we wouldn't want to message them until we knew for sure what kind of shape Velaki is in. So it seems like Erwin Martikov is a definite. And maybe we should just start there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so because I think our thought was that if Velocky's safe, they could like send people out to everybody else, right? Well, besides Granny Patsy, we'll have to get a hold of her as well.
But we should know what the plan is before that. Actually,
Right.
I guess it's Erwin Martikov and then Chadwick.
Okay.
Chadrick.
All righty.
Is that what it sounds like to everybody else too?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So Wanderers would meet everybody at breakfast and determine that that's the 2, and that's going to leave 1 third-level spell. Then is sending something. It's not something you could cast up. Like,
you can,
use a
yes.
fourth-
No, you can.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything different if you cast it with higher level spell slots,
Yeah,
but you can cast it with higher level slots.
But see, that level 4 is that banishment thing, and I don't
Yeah.
think that Wanderers would want to mess with that if he didn't absolutely have to. Okay, so I'm going to get chat up, and Wanderers is going to say, going to start with Chadrick and say, "Dear friend."
Oh, wait, I thought you were starting with Martikov. Or, I mean, you can start with either one, but the last I
Okay.
heard was that you were
Okay,
planning.
no, that's
But I mean,
good.
it also,
Or is
I
it-
mean, it makes more sense to talk to Chadrick because you need to know if you can all go there first, but.
Okay. I kind of think Chadwick, yeah, that's
Okay.
what was seeming to me like. Okay,
All right.
dear friend, the mage, and he knows our story. The mage, you know I can't type. Should you be typing this while I'm saying it?
I don't know, as long as you don't go too fast, I guess.
Okay, instead of me typing it, dear friend, the mage is well and needs your library.
Okay.
That's 10. We are returning quickly and may be joined by another friend or 2. Please welcome.
Okay, that's what I have down. 1, 2,
The
3,
mage
4,
is
5,
well
6,
and needs
7,
your
8, 9,
library.
10.
We are returning quickly and may be joined by another friend or 2. Please welcome. And that's the message
Okay.
that Wanderer sends to Chadrick.
Okay.
I like how you did that with a letter heading, like dear friend.
Listen, I know how to do things.
I like it.
I don't think that Wanderers does, but nice.
Need to start leaving room at the bottom for love wondrous.
That was too many words.
I know, that's what I'm saying. We need to take a couple out. That way we can have the closer.
Oh,
We are getting so soupy in this thing, so emotional and soupy. What is with us?
right.
I think we all need a hug. It's getting rough over here.
Yeah, for real.
I think we're looking at soap opera. We all want to be in a soap opera.
Okay. You do get a response.
Okay.
I'm excited.
What is it? Where is it?
Oh, hey? Fancy hearing from you. Really didn't expect to hear from you so soon. Sure thing, you can bring the whole crew by, and
So he says, yes, we can come, and he's looking forward to seeing me, and he misses me terribly.
That's
He said he certainly appeared to say more. Who knows what's the end of that message that
I
got
know,
cut
I'm
off?
terrified.
like bring the whole squad by the crib, you know?
Yeah, it could have been, and, Strahd will be delighted to
Yeah.
see you. So,
Yeah. Oh God.
Okay,
Who
so
knows?
having done that, now Wondrous is ready to talk to. Is it Irwin?
Irwin, yes.
IRWIN?
No, it is. I believe it is URWIN. Irwin Mardukov. Let me double
Okay.
check that though. I think that's his name, but
Luckily, you're sending a vocal thing instead of like the letter. Some
Well, that's
maybe
true,
spelling.
but I- yeah.
He's like,
This
dude,
is
you
true.
spelled my name wrong.
I got a story about that. I got a bonus mom story time about somebody
yes, it's Irwin
misspelling
Mardukov. That's correct.
a name. Okay. So now Wondrous is preparing himself to send the message. And this is what he thinks he's going to say. Honorable Sir.
Whoa, something weird happened. Hang on. My chat just like disappeared. I gotta reload. Stand by. Okay. Go ahead. Honorable Sir.
We are accomplishing many things.
Okay.
Time to plan big. Use Raven form and meet us. I'm to 16. Where do I want to tell him to meet us? Pixel, what would he know to be the place?
The place in question is at the, and I don't know how you want to say this, you're going to have to figure this out. It's at the end of the Solenka Pass, atop, at the like summit of Mount Gacchus. So some way to truncate where Solenka Pass ends at on Mount Gacchus is up to you.
Okay,
to
I'm
figure
at
out.
meet us.
Yes. Use Raven form and meet us.
Top of summit, end of Solenka Pass. Fly quickly.
I think top of summit is kind of inefficient. You could just say atop Mount
Okay.
Gacchus, right? That would.
Come quickly. I gain 2 words back. Be stealthy.
Okay. You use Raven form and meet us atop Mount Gacchus. What did you say? End of
Solenka Pass.
Solenka Pass.
And
Be
I had
stealthy.
put come quickly, which took me to 25.
Okay. Come
But you gave me 2 more
quickly.
words, so I think that takes me to
Be stealthy.
Be stealthy.
Okay, let's count them up. All
We
right.
just talk about how Bonus Mom is expert at accomplishing sendings. All right.
5, 6, 7,
And we should have
Very,
known from our very first
11,
TikTok that sending
12,
was going to
13,
be
14,
her
15,
thing.
16, 17, 18,
Right?
19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Okay, the way that I have it, the 25th word is come.
Okay.
So I don't have
Nice.
quickly or be
Take
stealthy.
out.
Okay, I don't even have come quickly. I just have come.
Okay. I'm going to change. So take out, come quickly, and be stealthy.
Okay, so you've got one word at the end of Selinka Pass.
I can only do one. Stealthy. Selinka Pass took me to 24.
Yes, I'll count it again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24 is pass.
Okay. Stealth.
Okay. That's what I have. If somebody wants to double check that.
Nope, that's good.
Okay.
I didn't know Slinka Pass was spelled like that. I was like, what the hell did you put?
Right.
Bro, it's on the map.
It's on the bro, it's on the
I
map.
haven't looked at that. I can't
Oh my
read.
God.
No, I'm just
VP ain't a map looker.
kidding.
So
Actually,
you telling
that
me
red,
somebody
I will
slaps
tell
a
you.
big old fantasy map right in front of you? You get your fucking nose all up in there looking at that shit.
I will tell you, I actually didn't see it until just now, and it is really hard. That tone of red is extremely hard for me to see.
Oh.
Like it does kind of. So in my defense, it wasn't bold black lettering like Mount Gackus. So
fair enough.
don't be hating on my genetically terrible eyesight. Okay, it's bad time.
You're wearing glasses.
That barely work. I will tell you.
Wander's hero response.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
You have to count all by yourself. You have to
Yep.
count and type. We can't all have perfect sight, Ham Pamwich says. Ham Pamwich is your friend.
Yeah, she likes to rub it in that she's got that 20/20 vision. And I'm over here struggling. I got all my websites blown up to large font. I'm like, it's got to be this big for me to see it. We could trade an eyeball each, and that way you have a terrible eye and then I have a great eye, Pam. That would be great.
All right.
It would totally work.
Oh yeah.
Okay. You here. Understood. Glad to hear you are well. Things in Wallachia are precarious. Wachter is making a play for power. We'll share more when I arrive.
Our friggin' ride or die. Mr. Martikov, he's like, I'm there.
Oh, Captain, my
On the way,
Captain.
friend.
Okay. Is that it?
It's like we make impressions on people or something. I don't know. It's weird.
Crazy.
Oh man.
Okay. And then Wander's looks towards the mage to see when we are being teleported to
Okay. So you
our
all
buddy.
get yourselves ready and geared up, armored on, straps cinched, backpacks hooked on, weapons in their sheaths and whatnot. Mordenkainen walks up to the door, and he's got his robes and everything on, and he's just... I feel naked without a book and a staff. But he opens the door and lets you all out, And then once you have all exited, he closes the door, and the door proceeds to like fold itself up into fractally smaller and smaller images of itself until it's invisible. So it's just like it like cuts in half, but like the bottom folds into the top, but then somehow the whole thing is like, you know, 2 images of the door that are like half as big, and then it does it again and again and again until it's just like completely invisible. And he says, all right, well, give me one moment here. And I have to pull him back up because I had to put him away when I refreshed my scron. Because I need to know the casting time on this. 1 action, 8 willing creatures, instantaneous. Okay, all right, so here's the thing. You folks have explained this area to him. Yes? But he has not himself been there, so what I have to do now is I believe I have to make a roll.
Oh boy, we're gonna end up somewhere else.
Okay.
Bro, we're gonna end up in the castle.
And so...
This campaign's fixing to end way quicker than we thought.
Okay. Who's feeling lucky?
Is that a trick question?
No.
Yes.
I mean, hey man, I'm feeling lucky.
All right, Ozzy. I would like for you to roll me a D100. You don't have to pick high or low. I just have a table that I'm looking at.
Oh God.
28.
Whew. Okay.
Do I need to use inspiration?
I'm not going to allow inspiration on this, I don't think. Well,
Oh, God.
no, I'll allow it. If you want to burn it, I'll allow it. That's fair.
Do I need it?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh God. It's
For sure. Absolutely.
Come on, one time. Hey, 93.
Wow.
I don't know
So you
if
guys
I'm
just
better.
went from taking 3d10 force damage and ending up in a completely random place to actually getting where you were going.
Oh my God.
So I think there's a brief moment where like he sort of quickly scribes out this like circle. He like waves his hands and this like rune appears under everybody's feet. And then there's like a moment where he like loses focus and the whole thing sort of like goes squiggly for a second. And he's chanting this like magical thing and he goes, oh shit! And then the whole thing straightens out again and whoof, you are all
God.
transported perfectly to the cave on Mount Gacchus. Back to your dear friend, old what's his face, on the Amber Temple.
Are we actually in his room, or we're just like at the front door of the temple?
You are at the front door of the temple.
That's what
Okay,
I
I was
thought.
gonna
That
say,
would
I'm
be
looking at the blind.
easier.
I
I
just
know,
pop
I
up like,
understand.
"Yo, what's
That's
up?"
just where you guys were when I left you. Okay, so hang on.
Wait, why is there a random fireball to our northwest or northeast?
That is where I probably stored that when you guys were casting that. Oh, it's when the skulls were casting that spell. Because you guys weren't outside, I just threw the template over there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Ash, you have inspiration back.
So,
Thanks.
so Blam, and I gotta grab Morden Kanan, drag him onto here. And I need to update his default token now. Okay, great. So you all end up in this this sort of, spiraling rune, which is on the ground, and then it's burned itself into the snow, and so you can still see this like smoking kind of spot where this was. Oh, that's not what I wanted, or maybe it was. Come on, don't do that. Lambo. There we go. All right, it's fixed. All right, so you see the remnants of this teleport that he did. And he says, sorry, almost had a little mishap there. Fuck. I'm rusty.
And we need to get inside.
Okay, and
before
Cass
we
has been
freeze.
regranted. I didn't have time to take it off. Cass has been regranted inspiration.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I guess we probably should go introduce some introductions before our other friend gets here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should be careful in case things have reset.
Yeah, that's very true as well.
I don't
Maybe
know.
we'll get lucky because he knew we were coming. Maybe he turned it off for us.
Yeah. He did. He turned it off for you. You make your way in. I guess you make your way. Probably the easiest way is through the secret doors because you don't have to go down into the thing. Oh no! The easiest way is to go up into his library.
Yeah, straight through the middle, huh?
Yeah, because you don't have to worry about getting across that crumbly section of balcony between those two rooms. So you guys make your way in. I guess we'll go put you on the map so everyone at home can see. It's pretty straightforward. You make your way. And I also guess now I can delete maybe some of these. I guess we'll just put those on the GM layer and start letting you guys see stuff. But anyway, you arrive and you make your way in. Nothing attacks you, luckily for you. And your friend sees you come in and says,
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back.
better
It's
now.
fancy
So
seeing
happy to
you
see you.
so soon.
Dear friend, may I introduce you to the Archmage and wonderful, powerful new friend of ours, Honorable Morden Kanan. And dear Morden Kanan, this is my dear friend, Chadrick, etc.
Oh, word? Dude, welcome to the digs, man. That's totally dope to meet you and stuff. Anybody who's a friend of my little homie is a friend of mine, So GG's, I guess.
Oh, man.
And sorry.
We have need of your library.
Word. It's a pretty good library, so that's not surprising. But as always, you are totes welcome to it.
We also want to revisit the castle model, Strahd's castle model.
Okay. Very cool.
Just to take a really close look, because we may be going there soon.
Right. Very cool. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, because you told me that you want to kick his ass and stuff, and I think that is extremely cool and probably going to be very fun to see.
Are you coming with us to see it?
Nope, I have a spell that I will be able to use to scry on that shit from afar, and that is what I'm gonna do.
It will mean so much to me to know that you're with us, even that way. That's really wonderful.
Yeah, I resurrected some corn that I had found, and I'm gonna try and grow that in some magical heat and light in a side room, and I think I'm gonna try to cook that. I heard of a way to do that where you dry it out and then cook it and it explodes, and that seems like a real metal way to eat corn, and it could be a fun salty snack. So I'm probably gonna do that and watch your thing,
And thus pay-per-view medieval fighting was born.
my man Chadrick up here like, listen, 25 gold pieces, you get it on the fight of the century. Okay.
Well, be
so-
careful with the metal. That could hurt your teeth. Be careful. Uh-oh, was that purposely done?
I don't
The no
think
camera?
so.
No, from Onyx.
Something.
From-
I don't know. No, I'm just like that. I have no idea. We may have lost Onyx, folks.
Or maybe he just has the camera turned off. He might have needed a quick break after.
He
all.
said, "Hold up." Okay, gotcha.
Looks
Yeah.
like NVIDIA
So
broadcast.
you guys are talking with your boy Chadrick. Chadrick Witch Stitcher, as it were. I'm just going to put Chadrick in there, though, because that's going to be easier to see. And yeah, so Chadrick shows Mordenkainen where the magical ink and the spell books are, and Mordenkainen goes off to start to furiously copy down some spells that he needs. So I guess I can just give him those. Bloop, bloop. Let's see. He needs sending. I think that's the only one I haven't given him yet. Blammo. Beautiful.
So
Okay.
So if he learns sending, then he can do the 3 a day.
Yes, correct. Although,
And he
you know,
can use
yeah.
he can do 3 every day from then on because he will have learned it if he prepares,
it. Okay, hang on, everybody.
And are he and I the only ones in our group that could have it?
I think technically Esmeralda could learn it.
Okay. So could we give her the
Yeah,
option
Esmeralda
of,
could learn it. Sure, we can give it to her
of
too.
letting her do that also?
Yeah. We can do that.
You could handle the Van Richten part, which seems like it would make sense.
Well, they sort of are on the outs at the moment. That'll be a fun thing for me to have to roleplay. Okay, so sorry folks. It looks like okay, he's coming back now. Omega had to drop for a second. Many apologies. Okay, I've got to get everybody back where they belong, and then bam, we did it. Okay, here we are. Okay, so Mordenkainen goes off. He's scribbling furiously. Chadrick moves on into his study, researching popcorn. And eventually, Erwin Martikov. Do I have an Erwin? I don't. Okay, hang on. I think I've got one of him here in Valaki. I just need to go pick it
Well, I
up.
feel like one of us is whoever cannot freeze to death is waiting around the front door to meet him because we didn't give him directions other than the summit and the whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
So if Wanderer still has all of his furs or whatever it was, he'd be happy to wait outside for him or wait in the doorway or whatever.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
unless
I can go
Wanderers
out.
is-
Yeah,
well,
some of you
Wanderers
guys
is
wait
kind of
for
a big
Erwin.
target.
Okay,
And then
yeah, that's
Erwin
true.
arrives. But before he does, it will take him several hours to fly across the valley. You know, even as the Raven flies, it takes a little bit of time. So,
So let's go look at the castle first.
basically, yeah. Or at least you can
Okay,
start
so-
that process.
So do we dare split the group? I think maybe we can.
Okay.
Well, at least we're in kind of a
Um,
friendly place now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that. I was just thinking because I have Dimension Door, I can get away quickly if needed. Like at the entrance. So.
Okay.
But
So who
otherwise-
is waiting for? Who's waiting for Erwin?
So you're saying that would be better for you because a dimension door suits me.
I mean, it'd just be like, hey, I can Dimension Door goes 500 feet to somewhere I know where it goes to, and that would give me enough time because it's just an action to
Yeah.
dimension
You could
door
dimension
back.
door from the front of this place all the way into the
Okay.
library room if you needed to. So
So I mean, yeah, that's. I'm not saying I should, but I feel like it's probably the best bet if we needed to
Okay.
be alert of something. But
okay. So Peter goes to
Okay.
wait for Erwin. What about everybody else?
Well, then Wanderers really wants to go look at the castle, really eyeball the castle.
Okay.
And that makes sense to me.
Unless anybody can think of a druid, a cleric spell that Wanderers ought to have that he doesn't. But I don't think so. 'cause I
You
have
can't
trouble
learn
picking-
spells that way.
Okay. There
Yeah,
you
they're
go,
just
spells.
granted to
Yeah,
you. And
you
then
if you
they're
unless you guys can think of first through fourth level wizard spell that you want Esmeralda to research, I believe she's the only other person who can learn spells that way in the group. So
Ooh.
Well, we're going to
I'm
get her to learn
understanding correctly,
sending for sure.
yes, her intelligence is her thing. So yeah, and she's
Wanderers
working on
is probably
sending, so.
really torn about the castle because he'd also like to go see how that popcorn thing is working out just because he wants to be with his friend.
I mean, I feel like
But
Cass
he's-
would go look at the mock-up of the castle.
Yeah, I think that's what
Okay.
Wanderers would do first.
Okay. Cass, Wandress. All right. Anybody else on miniature castle duty?
Yeah, I mean, I ain't got anywhere else to be.
All right. Well, I will leave Esmeralda in the other room for now with Mordenkainen and Chadwick's in his place. Okay, so you guys head into the little area with the model castle in it. And you start poking around. Also, just for the vibes, because I feel like it, we're gonna put some suspenseful stuff in here. Just because this place is still awful, and I need you to know that. Even though you've made friends with Chadrick, but this place is freezing cold and sucks.
I think it's canon that Chadwick just has that vibe going throughout like the Amber Temple. Just
He's got a killer sound system, just blasting wicked, creepy ambience.
God.
Okay.
Now,
Okay, so you guys are in the architect's room. You can see, I guess I'll re-describe this room for you.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So this room has a 12-foot tall model of a dark castle with high walls and tall spires. Behind it, tucked in a corner, are some ruined furnishings and a wooden chest, which you have already looked through. The ceiling is about 15 feet high, so the castle is massive and goes almost all the way up to the ceiling. It's 12 feet tall, so it's like, you know, a Wandress and 2/3 tall or something, right? So it's pretty huge. So you might actually be able to see and study it a little bit.
When Ash was in the room before, did Ash touch it or just look at it?
I don't think I ever touched it because it was like we were kind of trying to be careful because all the monsters and stuff.
Yeah, I think the first thing that Wanderers would do is just walk around it and look at it from all sides, just to get a general idea of it. At that point, I don't think he would really be looking for anything particular. He's just walking around it to kind of get an idea of what the building looks like.
Okay.
And he's
Very
not
good.
touching it, and he's not touching the table.
Okay.
How detailed is it? Is it just like of the outside, or is this like a Barbie's dream house where we can open it up?
Well, you don't necessarily see any way to like take it apart. But So the exterior is rendered pretty exquisitely. And if you look in through the windows, you can see at least some basic elements of the interior floor plan. But you're not sure if there's like a fully scaled, accurate, you know, thing. You also know that this is how the castle was architected, right? Whoever made the designs for it. So it's possible that it's been remodeled or changed over hundreds of years. You don't know, but I mean, at least gives you some pretty good starting points to look at this thing from.
Okay.
Go ahead.
In the rubbish that you say we have already looked through.
Yes, you have. This is the room where Ash
anything-
found the Tome of Understanding.
Okay. Is there any detritus on the floor, small, like little pieces of wood or stones?
Yeah.
Or,
It looks like it. Just based on the drawing, it looks like that. So I'm going to say
so
sure.
I think that as Wanderous is walking around and looking at it, and he's really cautious because, we have unleashed some hellish things by reaching out and touching and stuff. He's going to pick up a small piece of something and he's going to toss it on the table to see if anything happens.
Okay.
So he would probably, where is he? Where is old Wanderous? He's probably like right there.
Okay. You toss it on the table and nothing happens.
Okay, then Wanderous would pick up one more and he would just lightly, not trying to knock anything off or anything like that, he would lightly throw it at whatever part of that castle that, is the tower or the center or the something. He would just toss one of those at it.
Okay. Yeah, it just sort of like plinks off of it. The thing appears to be made out of some kind of like plaster that's been painted to look like stone. So it's not made out of a bunch of little stones. It's like a scale model thing, but
Okay. So Wanderous, who is no architect and is no rogue, is gonna move in closer, and he's really gonna get close and eyeball this thing all the way around the thing. And he's looking for stuff like he'd look at the front doors. That's the obvious, but now he's looking around to see if he thinks there's a window he could reach in the walls or any kind of weaknesses that he, in his not knowing a lot about it. So I know it, any other thing that he thinks of, it looks like it ought to be able to be an opening or an entrance point.
Yeah, so I am actually going to do a fun thing, I think. I don't think there's any reason why I shouldn't do what I'm about to do. That I can determine.
It turns into a mimic and attacks Onyx.
No. Okay, so I'm going to actually bring you guys to a different map. That is, I think, of the exterior of Castle Ravenloft, I believe.
Ooh.
So, blam, there we go. I don't think you can see anything on this that is going to be, not visible. So this is what the model looks like, more or less. It doesn't have all the vines creeping up the side of it because obviously that's come with time. And you are looking let me put some text on here. Bam, bam. Bam. This is the front of the castle. This is the back of the castle. From what you guys have seen as you've ridden by on like horseback, on over the back here, there's like a cliff drop off kind of thing.
Okay.
So that's on the back. You can see that there are these kind of two like ramparts. There's these two turrets up here, kind of tower-like. There are these ramparts that go around like an upper level, kind of here type thing, right? And you can see there's another one, I think, on the other side. There are other big, like, hang on, don't do that. Come on, quit that. There are other big, like, outdoor walkway areas kind of thing. You guys don't, I think, know much about this out of character, but in character, but out of character, I can tell you that this little thing right here is where Onyx came like up out onto the parapet thing when he came up
Right.
those stairs.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was
Yeah.
thinking that was.
So that's what that is. So those, you can see that there are a number of towers, right? And this is kind
Do
of
we
an
have any
awkward
sort-
angle to be viewing it from. You can see that there's a front of the castle, and then there's like a back courtyard on either side that's like walled off, sort of. So there's like a front courtyard and a back courtyard. You can see little gates that like hold it closed. You can see there's some kind of weird little like house thing back here that's maybe some sort of like stable or servant quarters or something. You're not sure. You can
So-
see like gargoyles on the top of it and things. What other questions you got? You were looking for windows and things, but everybody hit me with what you want to know, and we'll see if I show you anything else.
Do we have any idea what this building is?
I feel like that's just kind of like a great hall kind of thing, right? Or like an
Um,
entryway.
Yeah, let me look. Can I? Okay. Let me see if I can find the right floor to look at. Ba, 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 ba. Oh, there was a. Hang on, did they? They didn't give me that one for some reason. Weird. Okay.
So
Sorry. Yeah,
could
you've
I
asked. Go ahead.
maybe. And I mean, this is definitely kind of
Excuse me.
going to be very much of a stretch, so I expect it to be a no. But could I potentially like use like a stone cunning check or something to like look for potential weaknesses?
Yeah. So I'll answer the first question that you guys asked me. That building in the back appears to be some sort of chapel-looking thing. Like you can tell that, like as you look in, vague suggestions of different like how do I put this? Furnishings are in the room. You suspect that they're probably not identical to what Strahd actually has in the place, but they were designed to sort of give an idea of what's supposed to be in the various things you can see into. So you see some kind of a chapel looking thing. There's like long benches and some sort of like thing where people speak. In terms of stone cunning and weaknesses, sure. Go ahead and give me a stone cunning check, and we'll see what you can see.
Okay, so that's a history with double proficiency.
Yes.
Okay, so it's going to be a 12 plus 6, so 18.
Plus 6?
My proficiency bonus is 3. Oh, wait,
Oh,
no, that.
well, and you're not proficient to begin with, but it doesn't matter, right?
Well, I'm considered proficient in history, and I can add double my proficiency bonus to the check since it's a stone cunning check.
Okay.
So that'd be a plus 6, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so that's an 18.
18. Okay. So the things that you notice, okay, so you notice that there's a main front door in the front. It's like a big castle double door, Beauty and the Beast type thing. There's a smaller door to the right side of it. So, again, you're kind of looking at this thing from the back. But there's and they didn't really give me a map that shows the front of this exactly. Other
Oh,
than
yeah.
what...
Is that what the thing below it is? That's the hole in, like that's.
Yeah, there's like those-
Okay,
outline
yeah,
of it?
yes, yeah, that kind of works. Okay, so we can use
Yeah,
that
so like
map.
the 2 towers.
Yeah,
and
so these are
then-
the 2 towers right here and here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the front door, and there's like a side door over here.
Yeah.
That side door leads into a courtyard. The walls, again, if this thing is 12 feet tall, you've seen the building. The walls are maybe almost 100 feet tall total.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They're huge, right? You can see that, again, there's some sort of like servants' quarters or something back there. And you can tell the way this is built that they like, that hangs out over the chasm, kind of.
Yeah.
It's like buttressed up. You can see that there's another one. So there's 2 doors on either side, I guess. You know, let's see, with an 18.
Okay, yeah, so gate. There's another.
You would know.
there.
There's a couple things, right? If you can find some way to fly, it would be extremely easy to just come in the top. Like, it's just an open hole in the building. You know what I mean? There's not even a door, right? Or
Well,
if you could
depending-
land, there's like, you know, there you could, if you can get up on top of it, that is maybe the easiest means of getting in. Although you're not 100% sure, like, what the, you know, if Strahd's going to even have like the doors locked, if he's just going to let you come in because he thinks he can kill you. His psychology here is not maybe clear to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's kind of like that's like kind of what I'm thinking. It's like, so
Well, and wouldn't it also be
if we
possible?
get to it, then what?
Right.
How
would
do we
have
get
an
in?
idea if ravens are strong enough to carry rope?
If ravens
that's
are
something we
strong
could
enough
ask
to
Erwin when he
carry
gets there.
rope. Yeah, I mean, I think that they're, you know, these are were-ravens, so they maintain like humanoid intelligence. You know, 2 of them might have to fly it together, but probably somebody could fly some.
Yeah, because
rope
see,
or
somebody could
something.
fly some ropes over the turret, and then there could be people climbing up the side too.
Well, and
not knowing what
Mordenkainen
anybody
Yeah,
can
Strahd might
fly,
have in mind.
and in fact, Esmeralda could
Mhm.
learn how to fly if you're in this library, if you want her to.
And I mean, or like you could
Or-
potentially you could.
Go ahead.
Well, no, if it's 100 feet tall, you couldn't dimension door up that.
No, you could.
You can.
It's 500.
Well, and
Oh.
another thing is you have access to teleport. So if
Yeah, I was
Mordenkainen
gonna
comes
say,
and
like-
studies this castle, he may be able to teleport just 8 of you somewhere, right?
So like the party.
Yeah.
Well, and Wanderous is looking at all the little buildings in the back, thinking that if he got his rope back, he might be able, just because of his height, to do some things to climb up on the top of the castle, break through a window. That would seem like a possibility for Wanderous if we wanted to do a multi-pronged attack.
Yeah, well, and you
I mean,
do
I-
see little arrow slits. They're probably not big enough for people. These buildings, these windows back here, you could get in probably.
Mhm.
Anybody could, I think, any of you. You know, so that's possible. But like, you'd have to get back to there, and who knows what would be waiting for you.
So Wanderous takes out his cell phone and takes several pictures of the castle, catching it from
Har,
all
har, har.
angles.
I mean, initially, I'm thinking like we have a diversion, so Ravens, Rictavio, and whoever else we have to fight for us, right? Out front, acting like we're going to, you know, basically siege the castle, right? That should, in theory, draw a lot of Strahd's forces out of the castle to fight. And then we could teleport to the top of that tower and essentially fight our way down.
It's just a hard decision to make.
Without
There's so
everybody
many-
here, yeah.
So what we're doing is we're just gathering information.
Yeah.
I do think we should ask
Coming up.
Esmeralda to fly. And do I remember that the mage flew?
Yes, you would all
Yeah, he can
remembered
fly.
he did. He flew stump
He already
during
knows
the
how to fly.
thing.
Yeah. Well, and something we could do, I don't know if we want to role play this or not, but I think we would all, in our moments of travel or whatever, be grilling him on what exactly happened in the battle that he had. Because he's just said, Strahd defeated me, but I
Yeah.
think we'd be asking for
mean,
details.
and he did-
Where did he defeat you? Where did you try to get in? What were
We've-
you met with? All that stuff.
We've also heard from a couple different people at this point that he is it's almost impossible to kill him in his castle, but it is it's like the place you have to kill him, right? Which is what
Yeah.
we've
Yeah,
gathered.
so it's like a multi-step process, right? Like the what you've been told at this point, and Mordenkainen would know this, right? He's a archmage who's been all over the multiverse, that the vampire, like wherever it is, when it drops to 0 hit points, it will turn into mist and go back to its coffin, right? And then it's vulnerable there. It like reconstitutes as a body, and it's vulnerable there until, you know, a day or two passes, and then it comes back to life or whatever.
Right.
So that first part of the fight, if you can find some way to lure Strahd out of his castle, then you aren't sure how that magic that bolsters him works exactly. You don't know if it bolsters him all the time or if he's just extra powerful in the castle. Like, there's questions you just kind of don't have a way to answer, right? What you do know is Mordenkainen went to his castle, figured he could kick his teeth in, right? And, you know, is experienced enough to have known, in general, I can fight a vampire lord and win, right? But because of some magical effect going on, Strahd was basically shrugging off hits that he shouldn't be able to shrug off. And you don't necessarily feel like that was happening during your other fight with him, but it's hard to say, right? So, you know, like I said, there's a lot of questions you don't exactly have answers to in terms of the nature of this. And probably won't be able to get, you know, short of if you guys can find some way to get, you know, start asking questions of demons or gods who might have access to, you know, magical ways of getting information about stuff.
And those options are pretty freaking limited too.
Yeah.
Because we got one angel that's has a feather for a brain.
Right. Well, and there are spells where you can ask, you know, I don't know, druids and clerics sometimes get access to spells where they can ask, like, deities questions and things, but, you know, you'd have to use those. And I'm not 100% sure if you have them
in
yet
the
or not.
library that, well, no, you're saying druids and, did you say druids and clerics?
Yeah, I don't know enough about every single spell in D&D to tell you if there are wizard spells that will do that. I know a lot of things, but that is a level of encyclopedic knowledge of the spells that I do not have. So.
Well, you know what? Okay. Wanderous wants to go back to the library after we get finished in here then.
Okay.
Before we go, is there any, because and I doubt this, because like you said, it's very clearly very unlikely that Strahd has this set up the way that this architect has it set up. We're also having to take into account hundreds of years of difference in time. But like, is there anything that I could glean with an investigation check here that is it even worth doing? Or have we pretty much seen and found?
I mean, you've got an 18 on that stone cunning. Here's what I'll do. I'll let that 18 on the stone cunning from Cass give you advantage on your investigation check.
Okay. And like, I feel bad because I don't have anything specific, but like, I would feel bad if I didn't try to do something.
Sure.
I guess what I'm getting at. Everybody else is doing something. I'm staying around with my thumb up my butt.
Well, you're
Holy
doing the
shit.
thing where you just blank your mind out.
Oh,
and look-
shit.
Damn.
I got a
blank
29.
your mind out
Okay.
and then look to see if anything leaps out at you, right? Because you're the rogue, right? Are you a rogue?
Yeah, and specifically went the Inquisitor or Inquisitive,
Yeah.
whatever. So, nat 20.
You close
Okay.
your eyes and
Yes.
you see
Woo-hoo.
the entire inside of Strahd's palace.
No, but I will give you something very interesting that you pick up on
I'll
with
take
a
it.
nat 20. Here's what happens. Cass, you are looking at the buttress that holds up that weird overhanging thing, and you're kind of like, why is this here? It's like, it looks to be like servants' quarters or something. It's like this stuff, right? And it's like, why is
Yeah.
that off the back of the cliff? What the hell is that about? Right? And while looking at that and bringing it to Ash's attention, Ash, you notice something quite interesting further down the cliff a little bit. Is some
Oui.
sort of like part of the structure there. Let me zoom in so people at home can see it. It's like, it's got like a roof. It's underneath the buttress. This weird little roofed jutting out thing with some windows in it. And you don't see any furniture in there. So it doesn't reveal like what it is in the castle, But the thing that's noteworthy about it is that it is, vertically speaking, deep into the cliff. So parts of this castle appear to go down underneath, pretty deep into the side of the cliff. And you do see... Hang on, let me get to where I'm looking at this to be sure. You do see that there are what appear to be windows that are there. They're like, based on the look of the windows that are further up, which are some of these guys up here, they seem designed to have stained glass in them, although they didn't put little teeny tiny stained glass in these. But like there's like some notations from the architect indicating that. So you think that there may be like, and it would be hard to get to this because it's like way around the back of the castle and like halfway down the cliffside. But there appears to be some, like, as you're looking at this, model, you're like, oh, hey, what the hell is this? That just catches your interest. Whether you're not 20, you're just like, huh, weird. That's suspicious, basically. So there's some kind of basement, and they have some weird little hanging out thing there.
It's not so far-fetched to... Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was just going to say, Wander's just going to look at it, too, if you all are looking at it.
Well, I think it's not so far-fetched for Ash to say. I don't know if this comes as a surprise to you guys, but this definitely indicates that there's some sort of basement, gods only know, labyrinth underneath this castle, and it's almost like, do you guys reckon that it's the stereotypical his quarters are going to be down low? Do we think it's going to be up high? This honestly, for me, this makes it so much more complicated. It's like we don't even know where to start in his castle. Even with looking at it, we don't even know where to begin to look for where he rests.
Well, it stands to reason.
I mean, good. Bonus mom.
I was just going to say, it stands to reason if that stairway in the top ends up being just a wide open stairway, that you wouldn't think his final resting place is loose in the top of the castle. That's all that I was going to say.
That's true. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, I feel like, vampires, dank crypts, basement.
Yeah, I mean, but I guess that was my point, is that makes logical sense, except for we're dealing with Strahd, who deals this psychological warfare on us every time he meets us, and like, what if he like sees that and is like, oh, they're gonna know it's in the basement, so we're gonna throw it upstairs somewhere. I don't know. I'm just second guessing myself here, I guess, on this.
I mean, yeah, but so
it doesn't make sense for it to be out in the open for sure. I totally agree.
But the castle wasn't built for Strahd, was it?
Yes, it 100% was built exactly and specifically for Strahd to his insane specifications. He had the architect build this how he wanted it. So essentially the story of Strahd, as you look back at his thing, he was a warlord. He was in a lot of wars. He came to this area. He fought wars in it, but he loved how beautiful the valley was. So after he won all of his wars, he decided to, now that he's going to rule this place, put his castle here. So he had the castle built, and then he was bringing his father had died a long time before. He was bringing his mother and his brother here to live with him in the castle. His mother, I believe, died on the way. And then there was the whole thing about he fell in love with the girl that liked his brother, and then he killed them both and then himself because he's a dumbass and a fuckboy and an incel. And it's a very funny story of what a loser he is. And he now has made that everyone's problem for several hundred years.
Well, I don't know if Wanderers would know this or not. Okay. But Bonus Mom knows it from studying history, so you tell me if any of us would have an inkling of this, that a lot of times with castles, and particularly things that were going to have walls around them where there could be sieges and things, the owners of the castle would have an escape hatch. And
that's
would Wanderers have any idea that that's what that might be?
I mean, you're looking at this thing, it's like halfway up the cliffside. Probably not really. No, just be
Except
like.
that if
I guess a
except
person
that
could
if
put a
we-
rope out the window and climb several hundred feet down the cliffside or something, but
But I mean, it's also Strahd. He can go
Who can
bat form and
fly.
get away, and also like
Well, I think
but
it's
you know
important
he
to
built
remember
this
that
castle before he was a vampire. Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was
that
gonna
was
say.
my question in the first place.
But yeah,
this
so
was-
he
this
built it when he
pre-Vampire
was
Strahd.
human. So I don't know if maybe
Okay.
I misunderstood your
Okay.
question. Strahd had it built for himself before he knew he would become a vampire.
Right.
But
Okay.
also he was still the kind of the same insane asshole when he was alive. Right. So and he may have remodeled it since then. But yeah.
But also
All
don't
I'm
think
saying
it's
is on that Nat
likely-
20 you notice that, and it's certainly an interesting architectural choice. I would think in everyone who comes in and looks at this, no one present, not the Lich, not Mordenkainen, not anyone would have seen a castle with one of those. That's like, yeah, that's a very strange choice to do, you know what I mean? So so that's what the Nat 20 gets you basically.
Got it. That's fair.
It also proves that there are many levels below ground, possibly.
Yes,
In
there
that
is some
castle.
amount of levels, and you're looking at the size of this thing, and you're looking at the size of the floors. If you're like extrapolating, there's maybe a maximum of 2 floors down there, 2 to 3 or something, that aren't visible. And you don't, I think, see any other evidence of anything on that level of the cliff going around. There's just like that one spot. So.
Okay.
It gleamed some information, so it was
Yeah.
totally worth it.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, either way, like we're gonna have to take on Strahd. Two, we're gonna have to fight. Like we're going to have to fight our way through that castle to wherever he goes after we kill him. I mean, we'll be there. So, yeah, I mean, like there's, like it's nothing short of we're going to have to destroy everything in that castle, and hopefully get Onyx back in the process.
Okay, we just have a few minutes left here, but I am going to say that Erwin Mardukov shows up. PETA, you bring him in. I'm going to leave us on this map because I think as you guys are planning about what your plans are, you're going to want to be seeing it. Do we want to go ahead and try and have any of the I don't know what types of conversations you guys are wanting to have with Erwin. Are you just planning to quickly catch him up to speed and tell him what the other people to know and to set up a meeting for somewhere else later, or is this a big extensive conversation that maybe should happen next session?
Well, we don't know what is going on in Valaki. He just said it's precarious.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
we're going to want to know what's happening in Valaki. So you tell me if that's a big, or us, if
Sure.
that's a big conversation.
Yeah, I think that's a bigger conversation.
Okay.
So, all right, friends. Well, I think what we're going to do then is we're going to call it a little early today. My apologies. Just to check with everybody, December the 8th would normally be our next session. I know we're going into holiday times, but does that probably work for everybody, or?
I fly out the next day for a trip. So I mean, I should be able to, but
Okay.
it'd just be a little tight.
Okay. I mean, we also can make it an early one like this one, or earlier too. If we, in terms of just not going as late.
Yeah.
Well, we have so much, and this is such a big planning thing.
Yeah.
There's not any combat in here. It's us trying to figure out what the heck we're going to do. But what we're running up against is huge.
Yeah. And because I will
it's
say
that.
the next one after that's the 22nd.
Yes. Yeah.
So anyway, we'll figure that out off stream. We don't have to do that right now. And then just to make sure everybody at home knows, I don't know if I announced this last session. We are going to have to take a break from this campaign starting sometime in January. So just cast and scheduling issues that will come up. So our plan is to take this up to probably whenever they are going to make their move on the castle. So the next couple of sessions are going to be a lot of planning and getting things in place, maybe dealing with any loose ends like what's going on in Valaki or things like that. And then hopefully when we reach, the basically the last session before we stop, we'll be setting them up to actually go attack the castle. And then once we can start up again, it may be a couple of months. I'm not sure how many. It's a bit nebulous on that front as far as I know. We will, finish this out when we can. We do have some other things in the works, as you know. I will be starting a sci-fi game that will hopefully take it up some of that time. And then we currently have our Beast Wilds games going on. And so we'll just sort of take it as it comes. Anyway, so those are some just like random announcements I'm making. But we're going to go ahead and finish up this session with our usual sign off. If you could please remind everybody who you were, who you've been playing tonight, and where you can be found on the internet, starting, of course, with Vincent Page. Also, if everyone will help us find somebody to raid.
Alrighty, friends, I've been Vincent Page. I've been your Ash Fireforge, the emotional changeling rogue, and this has been fun. You can find me all over the internet at Vincent Page, like you probably see it on the screen here, probably. And we have started multi-streaming, so we're doing streams on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. We just finished up Twilight Princess for the first time. That was great.
Wow.
Excellent. GG's. Omega.
Hey y'all. My name is Omega. I played Onyx Von Hart tonight. Or not Onyx, jeez. I wish.
Rip.
Yeah, no, I wish. He's unfortunately incapacitated, as far as I know. So I was playing Peter Walhart. You can find me on TikTok, OmegaMT42. I've just had a couple of health things come up, and life and everything like that. So yay, life things. So I haven't been posting as much, but hope to get back to that hopefully next year if things settle. But yeah.
Excellent. Ozzy.
Mozzie, I played Cass Amblecrown, or should I say Cass Fireforge?
Wow.
Bum, bum, bum.
And it was fun.
Huzzah. Bonus Mom.
I am Bonus Mom, and I played Wanderous, the Furbolg, who is a nature domain cleric. And you can find me here every other Friday night, except for holidays, on Ages of Ainur. And I also TikTok live stream Monday through Fridays, hopefully, from about 9 a.m. Eastern time to 11 or so. Hope to be playing a bit more on Twitch than I have been in the past. Got to get myself in gear, because Pixel and I have thought of a very interesting channel points challenge. Something for you all to watch Bonus Mom do, and then something might happen. So that's kind of in the works. Also, probably beginning first of the year. Currently, I spend a good amount of time playing Twitch with Pixel in Stardew Valley Expanded, and we're having a great time doing that. So hope to see you all soon. Come talk to me in Bonus Dad Monday morning about 9 a.m. Eastern time. Thanks, everybody.
Huzzah. And I'm Pixel, and you can find me here on twitch.tv/agesofeinor, where I run some of our games, and I play in our other one that happens on Monday. That one will be happening again, I believe, on the 4th, theoretically. And you can also find me in the Bonus Moms Tavern Discord, which sort of pulls double duty as the Ages of Ainur Discord, where we play D&D in there. If you enjoy what we do here and you're watching us now on YouTube or somewhere else, please go check that out if you might like to get in on some games. We have a few DMs in there. We're always looking for more, of course. And we would love to have you join. You can also find me here at twitch.tv/hammerandpixel, where I have been playing a bunch of Stardew Valley, and I have a bunch of other things I got to get to. We have some Final Fantasy playthroughs we're in the middle of. We have a Baldur's Gate playthrough we're in the middle of. There's a lot to be done, as always, and we'll be getting to those when the time comes. And that's what we got. And we will be letting you know when we'll be live again, probably via the Bonus Moms Tavern Discord, so that's the best way to get that information as well. That's all I have. Anybody know anybody we can raid for the evening? Let's see. There are a few people I know playing like Baldur's Gate 3. Not really many people playing D&D. other than like Old World Charm, who we rated a couple times?
I found a group, Pandemonium TTRPG. Looks like they're doing a one shot tonight.
Ooh, fun. Let's see. Okay. All right, let's. Okay, cool. Yeah, we can go raid them unless anybody has anyone else they would like us to go visit. If not, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you, folks, for any resubs that happened today. We appreciate all you guys watching us for this absolutely bonkers stuff that we do, and hope you enjoyed the show. And we will hopefully see you in a couple of weeks. Thank you very much, and peace out. Stick around while we go raid Pandemonium TTRPG for their Friday one-shot. Peace out.
Bye.
Let me tell a tale of a world where heroes walk among us, fighting through the darkness left by monsters and by selfish men. A tale of glory rents asunder, sacrifice and battles lost. Our heroes know not what awaits them, and still they carry on. Let me sing a song of a family forged by trials and woe. On their own they falter, but together they will write their own tale of glory rent asunder, sacrifice and battles lost. Our heroes know not what